So today I want to ask the hard questions. I hear all these survival channels, all these gun channels, mass media politicians. They're all upset at the police because they didn't go in when they should have went in their opinion, in the Uvalde shooting. Now, I want to ask you some questions, and these are going to be hard questions. What would you do? Questions. So the first one is, if you're a parent and you have a child in school, have you or are you going to go to the school and see what the security arrangements are? How many people at that school were involved enough to know what the security arrangements were at that school? How many had actually gone in and sat in the classroom with a sit-along program to see how the school ran and what the conditions were? The next thing I want to ask you is, if you have a security person or a law enforcement person, whether they work for the municipality or whether you hired them personally, should they give up their life for your children and you if you pay them minimum wage? Yes or no? Should they give up their life for you or your children if you pay them $15 an hour? Yes or no? Should they give up their life for your children if you pay them $20 an hour? Yes or no? Now, let's say that you just hired a company like Blackwater and you're paying $200,000 per security person because you're wealthy. At $200,000 a year, should a security officer give their life for your children and you? So the real question comes down to, if you're paying these people, at what price level should they be serious at defending you? Now, the next part of that question, long ago, somebody told me that if something was really important, the owner would protect it themselves. So is that true or not? So what responsibility do people have to protect their own children, regardless of where they're at? And does that extend to hiring people to do that for them and determining the right liability factor of those people? Now I'm going to ask you some SHTF questions, because these you probably won't like. Now, let's say that SHTF went down. You're at your home. You have food reserved for your family for 1 year. You know that this SHTF situation is going to go 5 years. Now, you don't have enough for you and your family to make that 5 years. A school bus breaks down in front of your house. They're all elementary age kids. Are you going to feed, protect, and take care of other people's children on that school bus? And is that at the expense of your children and you? If there's an orphanage in your town, is your community going to feed those children during SHTF at the sacrifice of feeding themselves? Are you going to rescue and protect other people's children if it doesn't hurt your chances of survival or your family? And the last question, are you going to protect other people's children at the expense of your children and your life in SHTF? Now, I'm going to give you a situation. Many people I knew said they were all for the sanctions against Iraq before the war. And the sacrifices and the deaths that caused were not a problem. And it was good for the world, good for the U.S. 500,000 Iraqi children starved to death from those sanctions. Do you still think that was a good move? Answer these questions for yourself and in the comments if you'd like. Please comment, and we'll see you on the next video.